operational semantics, how the food gets there. And a note that this kitchen in the convention center supports all the venues, and so the mobile kitchen will have to do the same, meaning the lounge at the, as you were out over the holidays, we all know.
First, and Councilor Branch, are you willing to lead us?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I also wanted to announce at the beginning of the meeting that we had arranged for the mayor pro tem to be split between 2025 and 2026. So Councilor Fort has ably served as mayor pro tem in 2025. We will now be passing the baton to now Mayor Pro Tem Harrison, and just appreciate her serving in that role. And I know that Councilor Fort will provide backup for anything that we need, but thank you. And then I also, before we get to the consent agenda, just wanted to make a motion to reorder tonight's agenda, the public hearing agenda, to move rezoning case Z3425 North Hills to the beginning of the agenda, item 1 versus item 5, and that is for tonight at 7 o'clock.
So Mayor, you're clarifying it'll be the first public hearing this evening at 7.
Correct. It'll be the first item on the agenda tonight for the public hearing.
Second.
Okay. And all in favor of that motion, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. And we will notify all members of the public who have signed up to speak of this change so they know to get there early. Okay. All right. With that out of the way, the consent agenda, and it's my understanding that there have been no items pulled from consent. So is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of that motion, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, so ayes have it. All right, next, I was getting to the right page. We have the report of the Planning Commission.
Happy New Year, Mayor and City Council. It's great to be with you. Bynum Walter, Planning and Development. We have one item on the report of the Planning Commission this afternoon for your consideration. There are a couple of holidays of note in January for your reference. There are some items scheduled for public hearing at your next meeting on the 20th in the afternoon, but nothing scheduled yet for, no public hearing scheduled yet for your February meetings. The item coming out of Planning Commission is 516 North Blunt Street. This is one lot. It's less than half an acre. The request would go from an office mixed-use district to a commercial mixed-use district. The historic overlay would remain in place, and the 3-story height limit would continue. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use map. The Raleigh Historic Development Commission recommends approval. Planning Commission did not make a recommendation prior to their deadline for review. Their last meeting of the year, they did not achieve quorum because of inclement weather issues. So you have some options in front of you. You could extend the Planning Commission deadline for review before setting the public hearing, so you could give them an additional 45 days, which would allow them an additional 2 meetings for discussion. The item that they would have discussed on December 9th had been modified. There were revised conditions for their consideration. Alternatively, you may choose at this time to set a public hearing without a recommendation from Planning Commission, in which case we would suggest February 3.
Okay, questions?
Not a question, just so Planning Commission can do the task that we asked. I'm fine with giving them an extension on this.
Yep. All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, so we'll send it to planning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have the report and recommendation of the city manager.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, and happy 2026. We have 4 items in the report today, and then I have 2 introductions I would like to make for council's benefit as well as the public. The first item is an update on the Raleigh Convention Center fire damage. So we have Carrie Painter from the complex as well as Allison Bradshaw from Finance here to present that item.
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor. Carrie Painter, Raleigh Convention and Performing Arts Complex. I wanted to give you an update today, what's happened as you were out over the holidays, we all know, and where we are at this point, and then Allison Bradshaw, our Finance Director, is going to take away from there to the recommendation. So, as we all know, 9:30 p.m. on December 1, we had a fire on the roof of the convention center near the HVAC equipment. There was no events in the building. They had already ended that day, which was a real blessing for us that they weren't in there. There was very few staff, and they evacuated safely as practiced and trained. We were grateful for 60 first responders. They were there in 3 minutes and continued to come from multiple stations to take care of it. It is a different animal when it's a big building on a roof, and they just responded beautifully and were there. And they had the fire under control in 30 minutes. It was limited to the exterior. There was no interior fire damage, which was also a very lucky blessing there. And the event spaces are hugely unaffected other than water because there were holes in the roof and the water came through, and then it continued to rain all the next day. So there was water damage, but not damage interior from the fire. These are some of the roof equipment. From December 1 to 5, we got in quickly and started moving as an emergency status. We hired Global Cotton Disaster Solutions. They were the recommendation of our insurance company, and incredibly quickly on site in the next day. They were tearing up the admin offices. They extracted all the water, the carpets. They removed all the damaged drywall and furniture so that nothing would continue from water damage. We had a temporary patch applied to the roof. It's the sidewall and the flat roof part on that half of the roof of the building, and so it is this point tarped so that the water would stop coming through. The sales and events staff immediately started talking to customers, trying to figure out what to happen to December's events and take care of them in the best action possible. We led, just like we did with COVID, customer first, what's the best for them, and how do we help them get their event up and running, whether it's in another place or in our own, because it was within the same month and very important. And then we connected immediately with our marketing staff and the city comms so we could keep providing timely updates to all the citizens, the news, and our partners. This is some of the interiors. You can see the water damage and the cotton group coming in to tear out. December 8th to the 12th, we figured out that there was not a way to get the kitchen back up and running for January events, and we really wanted to save the first quarter of events. So the solution was a mobile kitchen, and by trying to figure out where to put this large mobile kitchen in close proximity to the convention center so we can cook and travel with the food, the best location was in the Red Hat amp on the concrete floor. So we canceled the last few days after the final weekend when the holidays ended, and that allowed us to get the rink out, to get the sandbox that holds the rink, and starting tomorrow, the mobile kitchen should start to move in. So we're really excited about that solution. We relocated the staff wherever we could in our other venues, few from home, et cetera, because they can't be in an active construction place. And we began preparations for a crane. We need a crane to sit on McDowell that will take all the equipment that's damaged off the roof and down, and then put up temporary equipment, and then one more time later at the end, we will do the same to put up permanent equipment. So we began working on that. This is the cotton team and some of the people. This is all the kitchen equipment that helps serve and run the kitchen, not the actual equipment that cooks, and so it was being stored here, but we're relocating it in the last couple days so that we can move events into this space. Inspections and claims have been just I couldn't be more grateful, just so incredibly responsive. We've had every kind of inspector, from insurance claims and conversations about checking for subrogation for the equipment that caught fire, all the way to our own city's planners, fire staff, et cetera. They've shown up multiple times on demand. They've been super wonderful, making us an important priority so that we can get ready to open. We believe we should have occupancy by tomorrow or the next day. And so we're really grateful that they really gave us a to-do list. We dug in and got it done so that we can welcome our January clients in. The mobile kitchen is a really interesting animal. A lot of people have asked questions about it. Sodexo, who is our food vendor, thankfully does really large world-class events. You know, they do Super Bowls, they do Formula Ones, and so they have experience worldwide in setting up entire cities that just didn't exist yesterday, but today can cook 1,000 kinds of food items. And so they swooped in, came down, helped us with all our insurance claims and looking through the kitchen, and at the same time helped us with a mobile kitchen. It's made up of Connex boxes that are all attached and joined, and the beauty of this is that we can pick what kind of cooking equipment goes in each box. So we can emulate our real kitchen as much as possible because the quantity in February of our events is enormous, and we needed to be able to put out the same volume of food. So we believe that this is going to be able to do the same capacity as we could inside. It's just a little bit more operational semantics, how the food gets there. And a note that this kitchen in the convention center supports all the venues, and so the mobile kitchen will have to do the same, meaning the lounge at the PAC and eventually the amphitheater when it's open. This is some photos of what it might look like, just to give you an idea what's in the Connex boxes. It's pretty incredible. It's its own little kitchen camp setup. Many, many thanks, as I mentioned, to the Complex team. Was so resilient. They were out there at midnight, from firefighters walking through the building with them once they had the clearance, all the way through every day. We've had calls daily, and I can't shout out the departments in the city more loudly than, you know, our calls every day with risk and finance and procurement and city attorneys, communications. This is a complex animal. Some of it is emergency, some of it is ongoing. We need to get this building back. We support the whole community downtown, and we don't take that lightly. We had a lot of customers waiting to get in. And so it's been thoughtful, expedient, and very complex, but everybody's jumped into support, as I mentioned, the inspectors in fire. And the CVB's done a wonderful job working in tandem with us, talking to our hoteliers, helping everybody know that we're doing our best to keep their livelihood, and then Sodexo Live for all their assistance with the kitchen. Business impacts in December. There were 6 events that got canceled or relocated. As I mentioned, it was really important that we kept our customers as much whole as possible, so we helped them find other locations when we could. Q1, I'm thrilled to say, we had 35 events from January to March. 34 have stayed. Only 1 canceled because they just needed to know that they were really truly going to have occupancy and be able to move forward with people flying in, so we respected that. The good news is we retained about $4 million in booked revenue, and being that we are an enterprise, that's really important to our budget, and more than that, 28,000 hotel room stays will be saved from this. So they will be starting to come in as planned in January. Next steps, while we've done a lot, there's still much to go. The admin office is starting tomorrow. Putting that back together is going to take about a month for all the offices. It's under the kitchen and under the roof, so it got quite wet. We are finalizing the schedule for the crane. We believe it's going to happen on the weekend of January 16th. We will put out releases and let all the citizens know so that they're prepared. We've aimed for over a weekend, so it's the less disruption possible with business travel. We have to replace the cooling towers with this crane with temporary towers. We have cheerleading in one of our first opening, volleyball in one of our first opening weekends. We need to make sure that health and safety, the kids have some air conditioning, so we're working towards that. We're going to brace the shimmer wall with new steel. The solar array is still TBD. It is not our solar. The upper right picture that you can see, that is where the solar arrays hook into the building. It got pretty damaged. It's their equipment, so they will get that off the roof when the crane comes, and then we'll determine the future of this solar array as it sits now. We will rebuild the permanent kitchen, the back of house walls and tiles and floors, HVAC, and then at the last step, put back on the permanent roof. So with that, I am going to turn it over to my colleague, Allison Bradshaw.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and Council, and Happy New Year. Allison Bradshaw with the Finance Department. So I have the last two slides. I do want to echo what Carrie said. This has really been a team effort, and folks across the city have really pulled together, and it's been a phenomenal time to work with colleagues in an unfortunate situation. So the city does have a robust and comprehensive annual review process to ensure that we have adequate coverage for various business risks. These include excess liability, property insurance, workers' compensation, and cyber as some of our larger policies that we have in place. Today, we are focused on property insurance. The city policy covers up to $500 million in damages, and the city is responsible for the first $100,000. The city's insurance program works really just like you might have on your home or your car. As Carrie noted, the Convention Center is a business type activity, so revenues are very important from that perspective to cover the expenses of the operation. So we are also pursuing business interruption cost, specifically for some of the cancellations that Carrie noted earlier. And I cannot thank our partners enough, Alliant and Zurich, who just really quickly jumped in and have really been working with us hand in hand since the fire occurred. All right, so let me get to the staff recommendation. So included in your agenda was a resolution. The resolution intends to continue to expedite the work at the Convention Center. We all know that time is money, so working as quickly as we can is important not only to our insurance company, but as Carrie noted, the larger Raleigh community. That really depends on activities happening at the Convention Center. So let me start with what's not changing. So staff will continue to follow state procurement laws and our city procurement policy. So, for example, if a formal construction bid is required, staff will conduct a bid process just like we always do. The resolution is intended to increase the threshold for contract signing authority and the ability to transfer budget by the city manager. So the left side of the chart shows what exists today. So let's start with contracts. So the city manager is able to award or sign contracts for construction or repair that are less than $500,000 or service contracts that are less than $300,000. The increased authority would allow the manager to award construction or repair contracts greater than that $500,000 that exists today. An example of a contract that would fall into this category would be a competitive agreement. So cooperatives allow the city to leverage awarded contracts that were done through a formal organized program. It helps reduce procurement timelines while ensuring complete compliance with statutory bidding laws. Staff have already been able to take advantage of some of these contracts for the work that has already occurred. The manager would not have the ability to award construction or repair contracts where state law requires council approval. An example is a formal construction bid over $500,000 that requires council approval, and we would still proceed in that direction. Moving to the budget transfer, today the manager has the ability to approve transfers $500,000 or less. The resolution would allow the authority for budget transfers needed for this specific work effort above $50,000. And again, it would relate to this work effort only. The resolution as drafted would sunset on June 30th of this year, and staff would commit to providing updates via the manager's update on Fridays as to the general project status and any contracts that were executed under this expanded authority to ensure transparency. And so with that, Carrie and I are available for questions.
Thank you for that update. Questions?
Excuse me. First of all, I want to thank Carrie and the staff for everything you've done. I know I'm the liaison to the Convention Center and the committee, and I reached out to you and other members of that committee I know reached out to offer assistance. I want to thank those in the community who also reached out to see what assistance they can provide. I know there are some questions about policies, this and the other, and inspections. I just want to ask one question. This is really for you, Allison. Our insurance company is okay with everything that we have done to date and where we stand, and so our insurance policy feels comfortable with everything.
Yes, I mean, this is a real-time, event, but we have been hand in hand, so they are very aware of all the contracts that have been put in place, and we've also been talking about what is to come. So I think that answer is yes, but again, this is a very fluid conversation, but at this time, I'm not aware or need to alert you to anything.
Perfect, good. I'm good. At appropriate time, I will move for approval.
Counselor Patton.
Yeah, thanks for this. Thanks for all of your response and broad sweeping thanks to all the city departments who have helped both with emergency response and continued efforts, and definitely support expanding the authority so that we can continue to get timely work done, and appreciate the use of the manager's update to provide us with updates on the use of this expanded authority and other updates. One question I did have is you mentioned that this expanded authority will expire at the end of the fiscal year. Is there any other trigger that would end it before then? Like, is there any other trigger when we know, like, the emergency is over and the expanded authority is no longer needed, or is it only that time trigger?
Yeah, I mean, I might look to the city attorney for that, but I do believe we could end that sooner when staff is confident that the last, contract has been awarded or executed. I think we chose June 30th as a natural sort of cutoff for the fiscal year. That's not necessarily meant to say the timeline needs to extend that long. City attorney, I don't know if you'd add anything.
That's correct. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Looks like no other questions, so do you want to make a motion?
Move for approval of the recommendation from staff.
Right, all in favor of the motion, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. All right, and again, thank you for all the work.
Thank you. The next item is a general update on the status of the new City Hall. Many of us at this table have had a sneak peek a couple months ago to kind of see the progress. And now today we have Stephanie Sieber, and definitely not Priscilla Williams here. Priscilla is not well today, but we have Stephanie here to present this item.
Good afternoon, Madam City Manager, Mayor, and council members. I am Stephanie Sieber. I am an engineering supervisor with Public Safety and Special Projects. I'm also a member of the project management team for the new City Hall project, and it is my pleasure to provide an update to you on the new City Hall project. So the first slide is our goals and future building expansions. These were the goals and functions that were identified during the design development process, and they include excellent customer service, efficient collaborative spaces, enhanced civic meeting spaces, better access, more staff conference, better training rooms, and particularly a focus on security, safety, and accessibility. Project history. Included on this slide are significant project milestones that required council action from the approval of the master plan. This was in 2018 until now, and as we welcome in year 2026. Significant project highlights are as follows. The project is now better than 51% complete. The project is very much on target to reach final completion by March of 2027. The participation for minority and women-owned businesses has exceeded the city's goals of 15% by nearly 8 percentage points. And as many of you witnessed, the raising of the final beam at the topping out ceremony was held on November 7th of 2025. And we'd like to say thank you to all who participated in that. Also, storytelling is a big component of the City Hall communications plan. We publish news stories in our city website at least once a quarter. We focus our stories on themes like the people that support the project, the sustainability efforts, and interesting construction updates. For example, the people, talking about team members that are part of this amazing, iconic project, and celebrating the sustainability features of the building and the environmental stewardship implemented in handling construction waste. Also, updating the construction progress, and that is done monthly on the web page for the project. Next, construction progress update specifically. So in the months to come, we will shift from the very visible exterior progress to the interior work. It is anticipated that this project will be officially, formally dried in by spring of this year. And in addition to this, move-in coordination and planning efforts are working in parallel to our schedule. Williston Hedgepeth is managing that effort. So some recent project progress highlights include, again, the topping out ceremony and the council tour that was held that day on November 7th. This was a celebration of the contributions of the contractors and subcontractors and all of their team members. I believe there were over 300 that were fed lunch that day. The hazardous material assessments for Raleigh Municipal Building has been completed. The final pre-qualification process for the ancillary furniture is now underway, and architectural fins are visible as they are being installed on the east elevation. So a few photos of the progress. You'll recall in the late fall that 2 new generators were set and will support the new tower. The first photo shows the generators being delivered on Dawson Street. Then the middle photo shows that the generator is being hoisted over the trees and over the pedestrian bridge. And then finally, this third photograph shows the generator being carefully lowered into the service yard. This grouping of photographs is related to the architectural precast installation. In the first photograph, you will see that the architectural precast facade is being constructed, and this is the fabrication yard where they were being handled located in Tennessee. The second and third photos show the progress of the precast being installed, and we know they are now complete.
Is that concrete?
That is concrete, precast concrete.
Okay.
Okay, and so now enjoy the official act by our city clerk.
Good morning, everybody. City Clerk Lou Bonapane going to make this bean signing ceremony official with the city seal.
Thank you, Lou. Okay, so, and this concludes the project updates. The project team is available if you have any questions.
All right, questions for Ms. Sieber? Councilor Patton.
Hi, thank you for this. So just in short, projects on time and on budget?
Absolutely, on time and on budget.
Great, we love to hear it. Also, when we were taking the tour, I was so struck by how intentional all the design and efforts have been. I mean, the council chambers itself will be larger, which will fit more of the public, and I thought all the design inspiration of democracy on display and the intentionality of drawing in Nash Square Park so you can see all the way through, and the the oak on the council chamber floors, and all of it was just, it was very thoughtfully designed with our residents in mind. And so hats off to you and all involved in the design team especially.
Yep, Councilor Lambert Melton.
I was going to add also, the public really seems to enjoy the tracker on the website. I think it's really helped create a sense of excitement and keeping folks up to date. And whatever we can do, city manager, to implement that type of live tracking on future projects, I think could be really helpful.
Okay.
And thank you for all the work.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie. The next item is a long-awaited item for many of us who move around in the affordable housing space. We have an opportunity for Duplex Village for authorization of loan and lease for the development of some affordable rental units. And we have Pat Dawson from Housing and Community Development to present this item.
Thank you. Good afternoon, members of council, mayor, and city manager. I'm Pat Dawson with the Housing and Community Development Department, and I will be sharing staff's recommendation for the long-awaited Duplex Village redevelopment site. I'll start by going over some background of the site. I'll then talk about the evaluation process, and finally, our recommendation for a development partner and next steps. To start, I wanted to show a map of the site. This is East Raleigh. The green area is city property and is situated right on New Bern Avenue along the future bus rapid transit corridor. To the east, it's bounded by Russ Street, to the south by Hawkins Street, and to the east by a proposed extension of Coke Street. The site is adjacent to another affordable rental development called Milner Commons. And to the west is the DMV site as well as Boyer Waldrop, both of which are future city redevelopment sites. In April of 2021, the city acquired several parcels along New Bern Avenue. And this was in response to council's direction at the time for staff to identify and secure priority sites for affordable housing along future transit corridors. The acquisitions were funded using proceeds from the 2020 Affordable Housing Bond. In March of 24, the rezoning was approved by council, and this decision by council made the site more attractive to developers by increasing the allowable density on the site. In July of 25, our department issued a request for proposals, or an RFP, and in October, we received 14 proposals, making this a highly competitive process. An evaluation team of 6 people from our department, as well as the urban projects group within planning, met over several weeks to review and independently score all proposals. The scoring criteria that we used is pictured on the slide, with the points assigned to each key area on the right. For alignment with city goals, we evaluated both the depth of affordability as well as the number of proposed affordable units. For development team experience, we evaluated the experience and the capacity of the development team, essentially asking, does the development team as constructed have the proven capacity and experience to deliver affordable housing at this scale? For project viability and financial feasibility, we looked at project complexity, cost assumptions, and risk management, as well as the city subsidy request and other funding commitments. Essentially asking, is this project realistic? Is it buildable? And do we have confidence as staff that it can be delivered in a reasonable amount of time, on budget, and with the subsidy that the city has set aside? We also included bonus points for having an emerging developer on your development team. This was a new addition to the scoring criteria. We defined an emerging developer as a firm that had not previously developed affordable housing. And to receive the bonus points, there needed to be an established partnership between an experienced developer and an emerging developer that outlined what type of technical assistance would be provided. After compiling staff scores, we then interviewed the 3 highest scoring teams, and we are now recommending the top scoring proposal from the evaluation process. So staff's recommendation is the Blue Ridge Atlantic Development Team. Again, they're the highest scoring proposal from the evaluation process. They have a proven track record of delivering affordable housing in Raleigh. They're proposing a unique partnership with the Raleigh Housing Authority, which will serve as co-developer. And this partnership allows the project to be deeply affordable and includes 35 project-based vouchers for individuals earning up to 30% of the area median income, or AMI. For further context, a project-based voucher is a rental subsidy that is tied to the unit. It ensures lasting affordability as well as helps out with the overall financial feasibility of the project. And 30% AMI for a single individual is $27,900, and for a family of 4, it is $39,800. According to the Housing Authority, the average income for a voucher holder is actually much less than that. It's $18,000, which really demonstrates the power and ability that project-based vouchers have in serving individuals and families with extremely low incomes. So here is a snapshot of their proposed development: 120 affordable units at the following income levels. Project cost was in line with other similar proposals and with past projects that the city has funded, and they did not exceed the city subsidy that we set aside for this project. So today we are asking council to approve the conditional commitment of $2,880,000 in gap financing and to authorize the budget transfer, to adopt the resolution to enter into a long-term ground lease, and authorize city staff to execute all required loan and ground lease documents. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions, and I also believe that members of the development team are in the room, as well as the evaluation team if other staff members need to give us some input.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Exciting. Do we have questions? Councilor Patton? Yep.
I always have questions. Hi, thank you for this. My question is just, when do we anticipate people will be living here?
I have that information. 1 second. It looks like at the end of 28 and the beginning of 29 is when construction will be completed.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Lambert Melton.
I just have a clarifying question. I know that on the second to last slide, some of those renderings, those are just for illustrative purposes, but this site, I believe, is in a transit overlay district. Is that right? I think planning's shaking their head. And so will they have to conform with some, like, the frontage? Will it have to be transit supportive and limitations on surface parking and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. I just think that's important. There's